Okay, so here we go. Again, a Vaibhav Suryavanshi evening, or will he start to feel the pressure? Can there be another Vaibhav Suryavanshi? Will there be many more? 2 a.m. routine, 600 ball routine. Should parents do that? Or is he an aberration? Can Vaibhav Suryavanshi be the next norm? Or is this unreal to expect that many parents, if they start pushing their children, they would actually be making a mistake? Joining me today, Shomik Chakraborty, Bharat Ramraj, and Gargi Raut. Bharat Ramraj, you spoke to Vaibhav's coach. Give us a sense before the technicalities and all of that. We will get to that. We will get to that. But your understanding of this guy, will he now feel the pressure? What is the story? You've spoken to his coach. It's a 22-minute interview. I was listening to it. Give me a sense of Vaibhav Suryavanshi also from having watched him. Will he now, under the spotlight, far more with that 35 ball 100, start to feel the pressure? Bharat Ramraj.
Not very sure at this age you will feel the pressure because at present it feels like he just watches the ball. If he feels like that ball has to go for a six, then he will smash it for a six. He told it to his coach as well. One of the points that was mentioned by his coach that there was a match simulation, and his coach told him sometimes you have to also take singles and twos because you're going to play state matches. Basically, he was telling him you are going to play the longest format as well, and he politely told him that sir, if a ball is there to be hit for a six, then I will definitely look to hit it for a six. So at this age I don't think he will feel the pressure. So he obviously is great talent. I thought Abhishek Sharma is someone who was born to bat, but while watching Vaibhav even against Australia under 19 a few months ago, this guy definitely was born to bat. He has that great bat swing, which comes from somewhere and ends up somewhere else. With that kind of bat swing, yeah, he might have a technical flaw or two, but in terms of shot making, I think is up there with the best. At that age, definitely, I think he's the best I've seen in terms of that kind of shot making. So he has that great bat swing, downswing. So he's definitely God gifted player. It's for Rahul Dravid, it's for his coaches. Just tweak his game a little bit here or there as the years go by. If you can notice, even in this particular IPL, in the first game he was struggling. In the second game he was struggling with a short ball. He was only clearing his front leg, and then I noted in the third game he was looking to pull. Then when I talked to his coach was talking about how he helped him to tweak his game a little bit by asking him, by telling him you can't be so predictable against a short ball, against different kinds of deliveries. So all these points tell that he has that great work ethic, and he listens to his coaches. And now it is for him to just ensure that there is continuous improvement in his game, and he doesn't feel like he's already a star. So he has to just keep making those continuous improvements.
Shomik, before I go to Gargi, your first comments. Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Bharat is right because, at 14, 15, whatever his age, you really don't really sort of understand the pressure. You're still in that zone. Chalo yaar, dekhte hain, marte hain, dal chawal, simple. I'm out there, I'm hitting, I'm enjoying. Maybe you're still not understanding the way the world is looking at you. Maybe you still don't understand the significance of what you've achieved, the 35 ball 100. Maybe you're still in that zone, you're that young. Your thoughts on Vaibhav?
Yeah, at this age, it takes time to sink in. Absolutely. Um, of course, he is a special talent. Of course, I mean, I'm not going into his age, but of course, he is a special talent. And someone who can score a 35 ball 100 has to be a special talent. But that said, I mean, we need to, we are very rightly celebrating that innings. But as far as I am concerned, and this is completely my personal opinion, that innings was a fluke. It is not going to happen again. That it was his night. Everything he connected turned out to be gold. And sometimes it can happen. Sometimes it can happen. I expect today he is playing against Mumbai Indians, and I expect the likes of Jasprit Bumrah and Trent Bolt to figure him out very quickly. But that said, no denying about his talent. He obviously at his age, he is a teenager still. So at his age, he has to be a work in progress. He needs to develop his game. and he is under the right guidance. Given that Rahul Dravid, Zubin Barucha, he is under the right guidance. So especially under Rahul Dravid, it it will not just help him become a better cricketer. It should also help him become a well-rounded individual.
That's a very important point made by Shomik Gargi. If you remember, Rahul Dravid, as under 19 coach, had made this point very eloquently about the Indian team that these guys, yes, they have won, but this is the leap to the big stage. This guy has already thrust himself into the spotlight with this IPL 100. He has kind of circumvented all of the stages, the league stages, the age group cricket that one can talk about. But however much it is, I mean, however heady it is, whatever your age is, you are consuming a Sachin Tendulkar writing about you on social media. You are consuming a Yuvraj Singh talking about you on social media. And all of a sudden, now when a Jasprit Bumrah has the ball in his hand, he will know this guy has hit Mohammad Siraj out of the park. So put him in his place. It's only natural that Mumbai Indians will have their plans worked out for Vaibhav Suryavanshi and not let him go. So it kind of sets it up beautifully for tonight. Your first thoughts, Kargi Raut?
When we talk about Vaibhav Suryavanshi, and I really take the point that you brought in about the transition phase. When we look at youngsters, it's always the transition that you have to look forward to. From under 19 to under 23 to from under 23 to then senior cricket and then international cricket, and now we have an IPL setup in between as well. But these are the transitions that are the most difficult. With Vaibhav, like you said, he has circumvented all those transitions and went right into stardom. Overnight success. Yes, for us from the outside, it's an overnight success. But for him, it's years of hard work. But at the same time, he's shown us that he's capable of successfully going through those transition periods and perform really, really well. He's hitting international bowlers out of the park. So there's his talent, his hard work, and his batting and his skills are not under question. The only thing that is under question at this moment is, can he keep this going? Can he keep this mindset going? I think Ravi Shastri brought up a really, really good point and a very clinical point as well when he said that he's only 14 right now. He's going to go through many failures in life. He's going to go through many slumps in his career as well, and that is what will define him, not what he is doing right now. We've seen far too many young stars burn out, and that's not what we want to see happen with Vaibhav Suryavanshi, which is why it's important for him to have the right guidance. And like you said, when he goes on social media and sees a Trent Bolt talking about him, as him being compared to a Sachin Tendulkar, that's where it's important for his parents also to step in and sort of block that noise. Even if it's good, you can't let it get to his head at this point. He's too young. He's too young at this point. But at the same time, you cannot deny his talent. You cannot.
Extremely well articulated, Bharat. When I look at the interview, I was listening to the interview, and I have also spoken to a number of people in the Royal setup to try and understand this guy. There is a degree of obsessiveness in him, and that's very natural. Geniuses cannot be without there is this element of obsessiveness. You have to be obsessed about your art. You have to be completely mad about what you want to do. This 2 a.m. in the morning routine that his mother talks about, the 600 ball routine that you sort of highlighted, a lot of people highlighted, the coach talking about his art, the way he's been brought up. But Bharat, the flip side of a Vaibhav Suryavanshi, and that gets me to my second point. I'll come back to Vaibhav again. Now think about this. For every Vaibhav, there are a million other cricketers who are out there between the age of 11 and 16 who all want to be a Vaibhav. They will not be. Even if you wake up at 2 a.m. yesterday morning, and I've written a column for tomorrow, yesterday or today, sorry, somebody messaged me saying, "Sir, have you seen Vaibhav Suryavanshi wakes up at 2 a.m.? Should we now," and this is a physical education teacher, mind you, he tells me, "Should we now push our students to start training at least at 3:30 a.m.?" I freaked out. I said, "What are you talking about? What do you mean you have to train your students at 3:30 a.m.? Your students need 7 hours of sleep." And he said, "No, Vaibhav Suryavanshi trains at 2 a.m." I said, "So damn what?" I mean, now this whole peer pressure, if you are not successful at 14 or 16, you're not hitting a 90-meter six, you're a good for nothing, damn it. This is India, Bharat. How do you react to that?
See, it depends. Obviously, it depends on the individual. If a kid has that kind of passion, if a kid has that kind of obsession, he wants to wake up at 2 a.m., then it's absolutely fine. But some others might mature a little later. There could be kids who at the age of 14, 15 may not be that good, but at the age of 25, 26 in some other field, needn't be cricket in some other field, science, technology, or whatever it is, may go on to do great things. So there is no need to put that kind of pressure. Yes, I understand. You can take the example of China. I have heard that even at the age of 2, 3, if a kid shows some kind of promise in gymnastics or something else, and if a scout watches it, then that kid will be put into an academy, and there would be rigorous 12 hours, 14 hours of training. So, but that is Chinese system. So I would say it just depends on the individual kid. If someone shows that kind of great promise at the age of 14, 12, then it is brilliant. Otherwise, just leave that kid to mature, grow into his roles. Maybe at the age of 25, 30, he or she will become a great in some other field, science, technology, or whatever it is.
Bharat Ramraj spoke to Vaibhav Suryavanshi's coach, and it's a very very good and detailed interview. You can watch the full interview on our platform already. It has been put out about a couple of hours back. But can we play a clip, please, Gargi? If you have the clip ready, we will play a couple of clips on this particular show. Play the first one.
Which there was a match in my academy. I invited a team. So there was match between Gen X my team and that other academy team. तो सामने वाली टीम में दो रणजी ट्रॉफी बॉलर्स थे अंडर 19 स्टेट 23 स्टेट्स के बॉलर थे एंड दैट वाज द फर्स्ट डे जब अंदर फ्रॉम इनसाइड में लाइक वो अंदर से ये फीलिंग आने लगा कि वैभव इज रेडी फॉर टॉप लीग क्रिकेट ही मेड 118 runs and he hit a lot of sixes, fours, and the way he batted, it was tremendous. वो सिनारियो वही था जो ये पिछले मैच में जीटी के अगेंस्ट वैभव ने बैटिंग किया एंड सिंगल हैंडली मैच को जिता दिया और जो शॉट एग्जीक्यूशन द टाइमिंग वाज ग्रेट बॉल का सिलेक्शन वाज आउट ऑफ दिस वर्ल्ड मतलब नेक्स्ट लेवल का बैटिंग
Okay. So there's his coach. As I said, you can listen to the full interview. We've got another clip which we will play in a bit. But Shomik, coming to the the point that I was asking Bharat, I was quite alarmed by the message that I got from this physical education teacher. I was also kind of alarmed by this 2 a.m. schedule. You know, when you go to school, and I was at my daughter's school just last week, and the teachers insist 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And here you are, someone telling you 2 a.m. is the routine. How do you deal with this, Shomik? On the one hand, is Vaibhav Suryavanshi, already a crorepati, millionaire, whatever you want to call it, next few years, star, superstar, brands will come, all this will happen. And on the other hand, the way we've grown up, you cannot have a Vaibhav Suryavanshi in every household. It has to be made. The point needs to be made out there loud and clear. You do that. Think about this, Shomik Chakraborty. You have a child, I have a child. Now, if the child doesn't deliver and we force that child to get up at 3, 3:34, whatever time you call it, 1 year later, the child is not there. The child starts resenting the parent, saying, "What have you done to me?" And the parent starts resenting the child for being an underachiever. It completely screws things up. Mental health becomes a serious concern. Shomik Chakraborty.
Absolutely. You wrote an excellent piece on this yesterday. You wrote that piece. I enjoyed reading that piece. And but the whole irony is that is the, see, that mental health, everything, that still remains a subject of the developed world. If you put things in perspective, in our part of the world, in in our part of the world, which is not so developed compared to Europe or the United States or the first world, shall I say, this is going to happen. The whole thing is to that it is very important to put things in perspective. That for every Sachin Tendulkar, there would be at least 20,000 Jaginder Sharma, right? No, not everyone can go on and become Sachin Tendulkar. So, but that doesn't prevent a Jaginder Sharma to pursue a career in cricket or any other sport in that matter, and strive for best to, to the best of his ability. I give you I give you an example. I give you an example. Steve Waugh and Mark Waugh, the twin brothers, right? Born in, within 2 hours of each other. Now, Steve Marco had a fact. He was born talented. Everything he did came easy to him. He was so easy on the eye, and cricket was very easy to him. Steve was not that talented. He had to put in the hard years. But if you look at the end result, who is Steve Waugh went on to captain Australia. Steve Waugh is a bigger achiever in terms of the runs scored, in terms of achievements, in terms of leading Australia. So it is like that. And I mean, if Vaibhav Suryavanshi is waking up at 2 a.m., then that's his routine. It's not that everyone has to follow. If someone fails, if someone tries to pursue a career in cricket and fails, how does it matter? There are in 2025, there are hundreds of different avenues. He or she can excel in that field. So it is not the end of the world. But once again, perspective in our part of the world is in short supply, and this is not India's problem. This is the problem. Mental health, once again, this is still remains a subject of the developed world. In our part of the world, it is not, unfortunately, by the majority of the parents are not taking that seriously.
Superbly articulated point by Shomik Gargi, and that's my concern. That while we applaud, while we celebrate a Vaibhav Suryavanshi, we are actually creating a peculiar catch 22. My point is, sit down and applaud this guy. Sit down and celebrate this guy. For God's sake, don't try and emulate him, because you won't be able to. And the moment you try and do that with your son or daughter and tell him or her, saying, hello, you have to be the next Vaibhav Suryavanshi and hit a 90-meter six, or you have to become a prodigy like Gukesh at the end of what? 14, 15, 16, or you have to be the next Sachin Tendulkar. God damn it, you won't be there. And all you will end up is sad, mental health, depressed, disappointment, and all of that. There is one genius in a million, not even that, maybe in 10 million. And it's absolutely imperative that parents understand that children understand that. Gargi, you have also played the sport. You played the sport, maybe at an age of 15, 16, 17. Your own thoughts on this, because it's absolutely essential for parents to get that and not push their child to become the next Vaibhav.
Every time a star comes up at a young age, it happened with the Yemel or Yamal, the footballer. I guess I'm not saying
Yamal,
his name. Yamal, yes.
Lamine Yamal.
Yes.
And Shomik, by the way, Shomik is still in the Lamin Yamal zone after last night. I'll give Shomik a
Absolutely.
comment on that, but you go for it.
But yes,
Ab-
every time a young star comes up at the age of 14, 15, us adults cannot help but go down the rabbit hole of what were you doing when you were 14? What were you doing when you were 15? And that brings us to a very, very wrong path. You start treading a very difficult path. You start overthinking your own life, and it's not right for anyone. Everyone has a different part, and I'd like to plug in a conversation that I had with Pulela Gopichand on it, and he was very, very direct about this. 3 points that will stay with me for the rest of my life. Number one is, when I asked him what makes a good coach or a mentor, he said, be realistic. And that is something I have never heard from a coach. A coach would tell you, you can do it, you can do this, you can achieve whatever you want, but I have never heard someone say that be realistic about what you can achieve. And I think that is one of the biggest things, some of the things that you need to hear in your life. Number two is that parents need to make sure that when their child enters sports, not everyone is going to make it to the top, and that is why they need education as a safe exit plan, which is what we see happen in cricket a lot. I remember being maybe 19, 20 years old, and there was this one child, 10-year-old boy in my club, who would come up and say, I will not go to school because I will only become a cricketer and nothing else. And the coaches would try to would try to convince him, and at one point there was an intervention where they had to sit him down with the parents and the coaches and all the seniors as well, convincing him to go to school. So this is the effect that it has. This is the effect that social media has, and it cannot happen. Not every child is going to be a Vaibhav Suryavanshi, and that's all right. The third point that Gopi Chand has said, which has stayed with me forever, is the fact that the exit route, that needs to be very, very important. You need to have an exit route. And yes, the point that I was making was, if 100 children sit down to give an exam, there is a 99% chance that all 100 will pass. But it's not the same with sport. Only one will pass, only one will get to the top. And that we need to remember, that as a society, as parents, as peers, that is something we need to remember.
Fantastic point. Fantastic point about the examination. Let's have the second clip, and then I will go to Bharat to get his 3 points from that interview. Let's have the second clip.
Ball practice or something on those lines, routine. So
See, Vaibhav was coming to my academy for personal training. अभी क्या है, पर्सनल ट्रेनिंग में जो भी मेरे से ट्रेनिंग लेता है, वी फीड 200 बॉल्स ड्रिल्स में, रोबो आर्म थ्रो डाउन, बॉलिंग मशीन, ओपन नेट सेशन, मैच स्टिमुलेशन एंड ऑल दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. तो 200 बॉल्स तो पर डे खुद मैं ही फेंकता हूँ. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, रोबो आर्म थ्रो डाउन तो 7:30 आते थे, अराउंड 3 and 4 o'clock के बीच वापस जाते थे. इस बीच में ब्रेक भी होते रहते थे, बट हाँ, उनका लगातार ये प्रैक्टिस सेशन चलते रहता था. वो अपने साथ आते थे, कुछ बॉलर्स भी लेके आते थे. एकेडमी के भी बहुत सारे बॉलर्स थे. तो पर्सनली जब मेरा सेशन ओवर हो गया तो मैंने बॉलर को लगा दिया कि भाई डालो इनको. तो घंटा बैटिंग वो किए जा रहे हैं. कभी बॉलिंग मशीन लगा दिया तो कंटिन्यूटी में 200-250. ये मेरे ट्रेनिंग के अलावा सेपरेट में, क्योंकि वो इतनी दूर से ट्रेवल करके आता है एवरी डे. आफ्टर एवरी वन डे ही वाज कमिंग. और बैटिंग भी इतनी खूबसूरत थी कि आप उसको कराते जाएंगे तो मन नहीं भरेगा और रुकने का मन नहीं करेगा. जबकि खुद बॉल हाथ से फेंकना या रोबो आर्म से फेंकना इज वेरी एग्जॉस्ट कर देता है पूरा. लेकिन फिर भी इतना प्यारा बैटिंग करता था कि मैं जितना कर सकता तो करता ही था. फिर बैठता था और जैसे बॉलिंग मशीन सेटअप हो गया तो वो उसमें 150-200 बॉल खेला. या बॉलर्स हो गए तो उन्होंने, फॉर एग्जांपल 7-8 बॉलर हैं, 1 घंटे लगातार सभी मिलकर बॉल डाल रहे हैं, तो आराम से 200-250 बॉल. तो काउंटिंग ऑन एन एवरेज 400 में बोलता हूँ, बट कभी कभी अराउंड भी ज्यादा जाया करते थे. तो ये अर्ली स्टेज से ही वाज इन हैबिट ऑफ बैटिंग फॉर लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, प्लेइंग लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रोक्स. चाहे वो ड्रिल्स हो जहाँ पे मैं उनको फुल टॉस या रोबो आर्म से डाल रहा हूँ, चाहे कोई 140 का बॉलर हो, ही वाज हिटिंग ईच एंड एवरी बॉल.
Is this a template, or is this just a one-off, Bharat? I mean, 600 balls, you're talking about 100 overs. And if you just take 600 balls, you're talking about hours and hours and hours, right? Every single day. Chalo, 14, 15, 16, whatever it is, I don't care. I mean, some clip is there saying in 2013 he was still 14. I'm not bothered about it. Chalo, 16, how does it matter? Is this real? Is this a fair template to follow, or it just worked for Vaibhav Suryavanshi? Bharat Ramraj.
Yeah, but in this interview itself, he has said that sometimes it would be 200 balls, sometimes it would be 400 balls. It was not like every single time 600. So yes, someone who's very hardworking, it just worked for him. But I just want to add one quote that he said. I suggested to him this after he failed in the second match. I think he scored 16 runs. I suggested him to go through Yashasvi Jaiswal's batting. He was using 3-4 kinds of footwork. So basically, he was asking him to try backhand across sometimes. He was asking him to go forward sometimes. Sometimes he was asking him to just stay still so that he can play the uppercut. What really impressed me was in the second match, he was definitely struggling with the short ball. But come the third match, he was doing this backhand across movement, which I noted in my video on Vaibhav Suryavanshi. And then when I talked to Manish Oja, then I understood why exactly he was doing it, because it was Manish Oja who suggested him to just watch Yashasvi Jaiswal's batting, how he has different modulations for different deliveries for different bowlers, and this particular 14-year-old understood it, and he quickly implemented it in the very next game. That backhand across movement, let it be that forward movement, it will be staying still and playing that uppercut against Karim Janat. So that is, I think, the most impressive part of this young batter, because at that age to actually decipher what your coach is telling and then to implement it in the middle takes a lot of doing.
Fair point. Fair point. Shomik, you want to add to that? You want to add to that because Vaibhav Suryavanshi is the talk now. When he comes to Calcutta and you are in Eden Gardens covering Kolkata Knight Riders versus RR, your focus will also be Vaibhav Suryavanshi. What Rahul Dravid says, what Zubin says, what anybody else says. This guy all of a sudden has become the talk of the IPL. Good, bad. You know, the importance of Vaibhav Suryavanshi, being him. And imagine this also, Shomik. Let me throw something else into the mix. All of a sudden, I was told, when I say I, Yashashvi Jaiswal, I was told I am the next big thing. I am the next big boy of Indian cricket. I am the superstar. I have all the shots in the book. And here is a 14-year-old kid who's actually taking the bull by the horn, and I am second
Exactly.
fiddle. Now, how am I supposed to feel? I'm Yashashvi Jaiswal, for God's sake. Put yourself in Yashashvi Jaiswal's place and think about it. What impact? On the face of it, I've got to be happy. Of course I am. But come on, boss. I'm also a super achiever. I have my ego. You mean to say Yashashvi Jaiswal will not feel the mental health? If he doesn't, then he's a robot. And I'm not
Yeah,
born. Shomik Chakraborty.
absolutely. See, when such an innings happens, even for just Yashwal, it's important to put his hands together and take inspiration from that. That is, here is a 14-year-old or whatever his age is. Here is a teenager who is doing such things, and now I'm 22, and still there is room for improvement for me. I will draw inspiration from him, and I will try to get better. Coming back to that 600 ball template. I feel training is a, I don't think, as far as training is concerned, there is a fixed template. Training, I think, is a personal thing. In the sense, I once had a I once had a chat with Saurabh Ganguly about Sachin Tendulkar, wherein told me that Sachin trained and trained and trained until the point he got better. So that was Sachin Tendulkar's method. Then we had Diego Maradona, and I am talking about two geniuses from two different sporting disciplines. Then there was Diego Maradona, who hardly ever trained on Mondays and Tuesdays. I mean, we all know about his life off the pitch, and he trained on Mondays and Tuesdays, and still worked his magic on the pitch. But then again, there is a difference. Maradona's career spanned for his peak spanned for 4 years. Sachin Tendulkar was there for close to 2 decades. Maybe that's what training does. Maybe that's what serious training does and discipline does. But at the same time, the 600 ball template, if someone is okay with 100 ball template, that is fine. That is fine. We don't know how much did Gary Sobert train. How much did Gary Sobert train? But he was the ultimate cricketer. But it has to be talent in sync with your effort, your dedication. But at the end of the day, it is, if that 600 ball template is working fine with Vaibhav Suryavanshi, then that's absolutely right. If working up at 2 a.m. is working fine with Vaibhav Suryavanshi, that is absolutely fine. But that doesn't mean you have to follow. And just I will take another minute to go to a bigger picture. For a moment, just forget sport. Every parent wants his child to be successful, to have a good academic career, right? Now, for a moment, think about someone is pursuing a master's in quantum physics or pursuing his or her PhD in quantum physics. He or she is not going to be the next Satyendranath Bose. That a subatomic particle boson would be named after you. Satyendranath Bose comes. Satyendranath Bose is someone one in a 10 million. So, so what does that child do? That what does that boy or girl do? He or she gives up. That is not the way. That is not the way. Whatever your talent, it is imperative for every parent to encourage, and it is a duty for the parents not to put uh, their child under any kind of pressure. That is good parenting.
I
Excellent. Yes, Gargi. Yeah, before
I have
that, IPL tax needs to be taxed at 40%. We are not Income Tax Authority of India. So, we are not Income Tax Authority of India. So, that is my answer to that. That is my answer to that. Yes, Gargi.
No, I wanted to ask Bharat, when we're talking about these 600 balls, are these cones we're talking about or real throwdowns? On net bowler, 600 balls?
No, not net bowlers. I think it's maybe the throwdowns
Cones.
or scones. Yeah, you'll just use some throwdowns and those with the scones. You will practice those forward
Because
defense.
as someone who's played the sport, I can tell you, we used to get a target of hitting 1,000 cones per day. So that was
Yes.
something that can be done. But if it's throwdowns or net bowlers, then it's a
I
different
don't
ball
think
game.
it's net bowlers. I don't think it's net bowlers. As you also noted that it was not always 600 every. Sometimes it was like 200. Sometimes it was like 300. On occasions
Then,
it was
then
more
must
than
be
400.
throwdowns.
Yeah,
Then must be
that's what
throwdowns.
he told.
Yeah.
Someone says Bumrah and Bolt will attack his stumps as Vaibhav looks to swing his bat at each ball. Picasso, Gargi, react to that. Uh, I want your comment on those chai wala bullshit. Boss, don't ask stupid questions. Ask, yeah, this is a serious one. Let's take that. There were some others from this guy. Can he hit? Basically, also take the question that somebody of the caliber of Bumrah and Bolt, can he kind of take to that now that people will have his measure? Gargi Rao.
I think one of the biggest compliments here is the fact that bowlers like Bumrah and Bolt will look to attack him. I think that is one of the biggest compliment you can have as a batter, especially at the age of 14. If someone is saying, if the world is saying that Bumrah and Bolt will need to have plans to attack you, I think that's a very good compliment in itself. But at the same time, Picasso, I don't think he's doing Chen Kuli ki Men Kuli and swinging his bat. He has a game plan for every shot, and he's not blindly swinging his bat that if Bumrah and Bolt target the stumps that he'll get out. He has some really good shots and good variations in his armory, and I think we'll have to wait and watch. Honestly, I am also excited for this sort of matchup because Bumrah and Bolt are a completely different level of bowlers versus what we saw in the last game. So it will be interesting to see. But at the same time, I won't discredit Vaibhav by saying that he's just swinging his bat at each ball.
Just to add a point to it. Yeah, the first 2 overs of White Kookaburra, it may do a bit for Trent Bolt, but always remember Vaibhav Suryavanshi has a kind of bat swing that you see once in maybe 30 years. That kind of bat swing he has. So if he gets through that first 2 overs, you never know. Vaibhav Suryavanshi might take down, especially someone like Trent Bolt. If he keeps bowling full, it might keep going into the stands. So you never know. The first 2 overs will be I think, the key for someone like Vaibhav Suryavanshi. I would rather look at Trent Bolt bowling that little bit of away swinger and see what he has got while trying to drive to see whether he will nick one, or for Jasprit Bumrah to bowl short of length and try to tuck him up and see whether he can play a cool shot against someone like of the class of Jasprit Bumrah.
Okay, so final few minutes on the show. Women Tri-Series result. Nobody interested. Sunny Singh. If you see Snehashish and Trisha, they do shows every single day. And the first two games which India won, the second match 259 all out South Africa, and the first match, which was a walk in the park for India. We have done shows pre-match and end of the match for both. We have got copies done for both. And the fact of the matter is, when South Africa and Sri Lanka also play, we will have copies and post-match and pre-match shows for that as well. Today, when the schedule for the venues for the 2020 World Cup for 26 was announced, final at Lords on the 5th of July, tournament starts around the 12th of June, we instantly had a copy detailing out where it is. So you know what, Sunny? In our case, whether it is Gargi's copy on badminton, having spoken to Sanjay Mishra, whether it is Rohan's copy on shooting, whether it is Bharat's copy on Vaibhav, whether it is Shomik's copy on Manchester United, whether it is athletics, every sport is covered adequately. And that's what defines us as to who we are. So when you say women tri-series, nobody interested, I would suggest this barb is better thrown at another platform, not at us, because we know our sport. And we are not here to make sensationalism and be donkeys on the show and act and meme and do all kinds of naughty. We are here to discuss serious sport. And last closing comments. I will start with you, Shomik Chakraborty. Mumbai wins tonight, 6 on the trot, 7 total. They are almost through. Massive game. And according to me, they are the team to beat. Where do you stand on that? Mumbai Indians, they have found their mojo.
Absolutely. And they're going to win the title in all likelihood. I have been maintaining this right from the start of the IPL. But just a few words, just a few words. I mean, the closing comment on Vaibhav Suryavanshi. See, at the end of the day, cricket is a game of failure. Sachin Tendulkar, probably the greatest of them all, he played 329 test innings. He had 51 hundreds and 68 50s, which means 119 innings. He was successful. And in more than 200 test innings, he wasn't that successful. So just keep in mind. So going ahead, when there is a slip up from Vaibhav Suryavanshi, and it is going to happen. So put things in perspective and be kind on that kid. Don't troll him.
Bharat, I'll give Gargi the last words.
Hello? Yeah, about the match, Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, I mean, set it up for them, because it's a massive game for, if Rajasthan wins after
Yes.
the previous game, they have a lifeline. They do. They still have a lifeline, and a miraculous upsurge can still get them there. But if Mumbai wins tonight, it's almost done. 7 wins, 11 matches, 1 to go, 1 win to go. They will make it, because Mumbai Indians 6 on the trot. It'll almost mean done deal. Bharat Ramraj.
Yes, I believe Mumbai Indians have that momentum, so I would still back the Mumbai Indians to come out on top, because when they have that kind of momentum, they're a different kettle of fish, they're a different side. So I'm still backing them to come out on top, and they have all the top players firing. Even Surya Kumar Yadav is firing, Rohit Sharma is firing, Jasprit Umrah has come back and is taking wickets, while RR depend on individual brilliance. I believe that particular side depend on individual brilliance. For a few games, Jofra Archer fired. For a few games, SSV Jaiswal fired. And the other day was obviously Vaibhav Suryavanshi played, believe it or not. So not knock. So they depend on 3-4 players. So if they come good, yes, maybe Rajasthan Royals still have a glimmer of hope of making a comeback in this tournament. But I think collectively Mumbai Indians are a much stronger side. So I'd back them to continue with their momentum.
Gargi, you have the last words.
I still don't understand how Mumbai Indians have done this yet again. Started off the way that they did, we all thought, this is the time, this is the season where we'll see CSK and MI at the bottom of the table, knocked out the first teams to get knocked out. But clearly, they have turned their campaign around and stayed true to their reputation of always having a shaky start and then completely turning the campaign on its head. And that's what Mumbai Indians have done precisely. But when you really look at it, Jasprit Bumrah's return has made all the difference. It really has. And with his return, also has returned Rohit Sharma's form. The top order is doing well. And like Bharat pointed out very well, that The entire team seems to be clicking, and at this point, nothing seems to be going wrong for Mumbai Indians like it did in the first half of their campaign. And with the team executing their plans like this, I don't see a reason why they should lose to Rajasthan Royals tonight. And I think tonight is the night we're going to see Mumbai Indians qualify.
Okay, so Mumbai Indians start heavy favorites for all my panelists, despite the Vaibhav Suryavanshi blitzkrieg the other night against Gujarat Titans. That's pedigree, that's class, and the fact that they have won 5 titles speaking. They know how to win. They know how to win. A Hardik Pandya, Rohit Sharma will come together. A Jasprit Bumrah will come together to try and stop a Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Generally, I'm not keyed up for IPL, but tonight I will be. I want to watch this battle, how this little kid faces up to these Mumbai bowlers. A Trent Bolt, a Deepak Chahar, and of course a Jasprit Bumrah steaming in against a Vaibhav Suryavanshi. And also the local lad, Yashasvi Jaiswal, leaving Mumbai for Goa against a Mumbai team will be another little battle within a battle. So this is quite a contest. Rajasthan Royals versus Mumbai Indians. It's all getting ready. It's all getting ready. Should be some match. Should be some match. Gargi Raut will be back with the pre-match show in about 50 minutes from now. For the moment, the message is loud and clear from all of us. Enjoy Vaibhav. Don't try to be him. You try to be him, you will get spited. And if that happens, mental health problems will become an endemic issue for almost every single day. And if you're a parent, you don't want that to happen to your child. And if you're a child, an aspiring sports person, whichever sport you play, you just need to go out there and enjoy. Pulela Gopichand's interview with Gargi Raut is actually a clear instruction out there. Just watch it. Thank you very much, folks.